And we're live.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, hello. Well, I mean, there's nobody here yet, but but this is the time when I said it would start, so I started the stream. So anyway, if you're not watching this video live and you're curious about what we're doing here, a whole bunch of the Just Got Played crew is going to, gosh, the Dice Tower East convention, and in fact, it's almost the whole crew, right? Like I'm going, you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany and
Tiffany and
Erock
Erock.
are going. Patrick's going to be there. Like Brian, I think, is going to be there. I don't know about Cory. Cory might be there.
He usually goes.
Jim Jam got a ticket. So Andrew is not coming and Lloyd is not coming, I think, right? So I think they're the only two crew who are not coming. So really, we're making a strong showing. Strong showing at Dice Tower Con. So, that doesn't start for another, whatever, more than a week, right? 8 or 9
What's
days,
today?
right? Today's Monday.
Monday.
Right? Where we're going, you're
a
going
week
over.
and 2 days.
You're
Yeah.
going on Monday, right, Tiffany?
No,
E-Rock?
Tuesday. Oh, you guys.
No,
What are
Tiffany
you
and
guys going
E-Rock
up
are
Monday
going
for?
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, we go Monday, get settled in, do our grocery shopping because we're always in a villa. So we fill it up with food. And then we usually go to the lobby and play in the lobby. And we've got lobby friends, like people that we met in the lobby of the Carib. So
Yeah,
we'll find our lobby friends.
I'm going
We're-
Tuesday, so I don't have to.
Yeah, we're doing
Um,
Tuesday for the same reason, but 2 days early. That's advanced.
Yeah, I don't. I thought about. Well, I'll pack all my stuff in my car, including the food and stuff I want to bring, and then I'll come to the hotel. But they won't tell you your check-in time, and so who knows how long it would just be.
It's
sitting there in
usually
my
4
car.
p.m. and then we got a villa too, so we like to go shopping and get everything ready and set up. And by the time you do that, you get your badge and you start playing games. It's like 8, 9 o'clock. You've essentially wasted the first day of the con and you're all tired from the logistics of it. So if you go up early, do your shop and get checked in, you can be up the morning of Wednesday when everything starts. You can get your badge the day before and you're just off to the races. So it is definitely the play to go early and get pre-set up.
Yeah, well, this is the first year I'll be doing that. I'm taking my wife to the Venetian Chop House there at the hotel. Gonna get my groceries early. Gonna check in Tuesday night, early registration. So yeah, good to go.
We got
On
that event
Wednesday.
Wednesday early.
Yeah, right. So, well, let's get into it then. The games that we're looking forward to playing at Dice Tower Con. Every game on my list that I'm going to talk about is going to be a game, is going to be a game that I haven't played before, right? So there's going to be a lot of games that I am looking forward to playing because I don't have easy access to them. So I want to play them at the con. But one exception is every year, Jack Vassell Memorial Fund, I run that auction on Board Game Geek for the fund. And I put up an item and said, hey, they just got played crew. We'll play a game with you at Dice Tower Con East. And somebody, won that auction, that charity auction. And so we're going to play Planet Unknown on the first day around 2 o'clock.
Because it's not a con unless you start with Polyomino.
Yeah, well, I picked a Planet Unknown from their list because it was the game that supported the most players, and it was a game that they gave me a list of games to choose from, but it was one that they didn't know. I was like, okay, well, I should teach them a game, it'd be good. So, I'm gonna bring my copy. We'll play it. I mean, it's in the library, but I don't want to be in that situation where somebody's sitting on it, So
Yeah, it's
I'll
a
bring my
scheduled event.
copy.
You want to be prepared.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, yeah, well, there you go. There's the first game on the list. Planet Unknown. I'm looking forward to playing that. Not so much because it's Planet Unknown, but because it's going to be us. It's going to be the crew. It's going to be some charity stuff going on. Like, what a good way to kick off the con pretty early there, yeah.
And we
Absolutely.
have played that.
I've just decided that I'm going to get a bushel of Chiquita bananas and see how many banana stickers I can sneak onto the back of Erock's shirt by the end of the con. New challenge.
Just to be fair, I do plan on changing my shirt.
You just count at the end of the day how many I got on there, and we'll run a total.
Okay.
I will wear this the whole con. It's cold in
There you go.
there. So
It does get cold.
the shirt underneath
Yes.
will change, but the outer shell is going to be the same.
Yes, I'm the jersey guy because I have jerseys and it's cold in there.
Yeah. Oh, hey, one other note on Planet Unknown, by the way. July 14th, maybe, I don't know, not very long after the con, they're launching a crowdfunding campaign for the Supermoon expansion and a reprint of the deluxe version. So
yes, I have some issues / questions about that. I don't know if this is the forum for that.
Yeah, go ahead. Why?
It's whatever. It's
Is it gonna fit in my already lazy Susan? And can I please have a cover for that thing?
So there have been questions about the cover. I doubt it's going to have a cover. I've heard a shower cap does really well, by the way.
Shower cap. We
smart.
have ours wrapped in saran wrap.
Oh, okay. Well, but a shower cap is easy to take on.
I
and
imagine
off,
Erock
reusable.
doesn't use a lot of shower caps, so they don't have spares.
Just not on my head.
I think you can find one though. If you have the deluxe version, I don't think there's any room in that box for any more content.
It's not gonna fit.
If you have the retail version, I don't know. There's new boards, the moon boards. Otherwise, I'm not so sure that there's. Martin says he entered at the wrong time for this conversation. He just showed up to the video. Martin Pring, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. So I could imagine that the components would potentially fit in the retail version. There's plenty of space in there, but the deluxe version, man, I doubt it. Well, we'll see. There are new tiles, but they don't go in the Lazy Susan. They actually sort of, I think everybody has a set of them, and they go out on the board, and you can use those instead of maybe your selection from the Lazy Susan. They're like little half tiles that are maybe only one type of terrain and all have a meteor on them. I don't know exactly everything that's going on with it, but it's got it's new mechanisms. To be honest, I'm thinking about skipping it because I think I'm over I have to have everything for a game. I'm like, I like Planet Unknown. I don't need more to Planet Unknown. If it added more players or something, maybe that would be interesting to me, but
I don't get games at the table enough to justify expansions and then trying to pull them apart and 6 months later when you finally do play it again, figure out what the expansion does versus the base game. It's not worth it to me.
That's what we do.
I have recently pulled some expansions out of games and given them away because I'm just like, I don't need that extra complication. I didn't need that extra layer, But again, if it's extra players, then I'm typically.
This is why expansions that are the best are more of the same. You can just shuffle it into the deck or what have you. It's just more of the stuff that you enjoyed with a variety. It's easy peasy.
All right, cool. Ready to talk about the actual video now?
I have more, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we could just blab all day.
Yeah, we do.
All right, well, I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the first game. And the first game that I'm really interested to play, there's a little bit of history here, but also I read the designer's blog, and he's bringing it to the con. And Ignacy Trevicek brings games to the con every year, and I like that. I think the first Dice Tower I went to, Dice Tower Con 3, there was the first copy of Imperial Settlers in the U.S. I played that. I played Alien Artifacts the next year. I think I played Detective one year. Last year, I didn't get over there, right? I didn't get to play Gutenberg was, I think, their big thing they were pushing. But yeah, you guys got a copy of it. I wanted to play Brazil, actually. He once his luggage finally arrived, I think he had a copy of Brazil. So yeah, unfortunately, I missed out last year. But this year, he's bringing Imperial Miners. So Imperial Miners is, themed in that Imperial Settlers thing, universe. And it's got like some kind of weird engine activation thing that's maybe sort of like Wingspan or something, in that you're mining down below the surface and you build these maybe tunnels or something of cards, and when you put a new card down, it activates the whole chain or something like that. I don't really know the details, but I will say that I like Ignacy. Anytime I can sit down and he explains a game, he's very energetic about it. So I just enjoy that experience. I don't enjoy the experience typically of getting a Portal game and trying to learn it from the rule book. So trying to play it at a con where, somebody explains it to you and you have questions and they just get answered is a much better experience for me. So that's why I think, no, what's that, John?
They should make that their stretch goal. The 10 highest donators will have Ignacy come to their house and teach them the rules.
Yeah. Well, gosh, man, I remember one year at the convention, he brought the first copy and maybe production copy of, what was the Mars version of
First Martian.
Robinson Crusoe? Yeah, First Martians. He brought a copy of that, and it sold for like $800 at the charity auction or something like crazy. He really should have volunteered to go to somebody's house and teach them that game for that kind of money.
For 800, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's why it's number one on my list. Not necessarily all about the game, but about the whole experience. So there you go. Imperial Miners.
I enjoy seeing Ignacy there every year. He's always got his own little room set up. And as you said, he's so energetic about everything that he does. I mean, it almost makes you fall in love with the game just because he's so in love with the games. So it's a really cool experience. I look forward to it every year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to Tiffany next.
All right. So I don't have a super exciting list because I will be honest, my favorite thing to do at cons is usually play just the biggest games that I love that I don't usually get to the table during the year. So those really long versions of like Dinosaur Island, maybe I'll probably try to get in while we're at the con, or, I've already told Eric that I would really like to take Underwater Cities with us. And, so it's a bunch of the same games that I always love, but there are two games in particular, and then a third grouping of game that I'm excited about. So the first of those is Flamecraft. I will be honest and say I don't know much about Flamecraft. Everything that I've read, I've liked so far. And it's super, super cute, which is always my thing. So I think that's what I'm going to probably have at the top of my list of like, if I'm walking around and I see a player's wanted sign for Flamecraft, I will probably be like, ooh, me. Because that's probably what I'm most excited to play. That's new to me.
It's interesting that you should mention that because BGG Spring Convention wasn't that long ago, and the most checked out game, by far, more than double the next game, was Flamecraft.
Wow. So I might have some competition for it from the library,
they might have multiple copies in the library even. I don't know. I'd have to pull it up and look. But it is a very pretty game. Like even just the regular retail version is pretty nice, but with the Kickstarter one with the fancier bits is nice too. I personally thought the game was okay. I played it one time. We played it together, right, John?
Yeah. It's a little light for what it is, but it's really solid. It's really thematically neat. It's enjoyable. Other than being just a little lighter than I'd prefer, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think you'll enjoy it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, with all of the art and everything going on the board and everything, I know that matters a lot to you. I think you're gonna like this game. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks wonderful, so I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Real quick, shoot off of that. You talked about playing big games that you never get to play normally. Erock, are you going to play your new acquisition before you leave the con?
No, I am not.
he's putting it in an armored truck.
Take it home. Yeah,
that is correct. Yes.
We're talking about
the Ark and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, we're talking about War of the Ring Anniversary Edition, Collector's Edition. Which one is it?
That is correct. The Anniversary Edition. Yeah, the Collector's Edition. Those are ridiculously rare and giant. But finally got my hands on one of the Anniversary Editions. So I'll be picking up at the con. I'm very, very happy about that. It can go on the wall of trophies, indeed. And every once in a while, I'll break it down and make Babe play with me.
Hey,
It feels good to get that grail.
I have that series, Steven's Rare Games. I think you'll need to make a cameo with Erock's Rare Games.
I can make a number of cameos. I got pretty good wall of trophies going on. I thought about it actually a couple of weeks ago. I was like, Steven does that thing. I was like, I got a lot of those. I could really do a little series about them.
But that War of the Ring in particular would be a good way to kick it off. I'm
announce my presence with authority.
Yeah, right. I'm getting a new addition to that as well at the con. It looks like I'm picking up a copy of Full Metal Planet. So
yes,
that's a rare game.
I would like to play that also. If I'm not mistaken, I think you and I talked about this game in our Gaming Through Time, and there was an offshoot computer game.
Yeah, that's how that's the only way I've ever played it.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's what I was thinking. So, yeah, I played that computer game a ton. I think at the time we discussed this, but it's true. I think I spent more time designing my little banner logos than actually playing the game.
Yeah. I don't think you do that in the board game, but yes, in the computer game, I made a ton of those little 32 pixel flags or whatever they were.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that was great. All right, well, I'm just going in a clockwise circle around my screen anyway. So, Erock, what is your number one most wanted to play game?
All right. Well, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a rant here. So, which is probably no surprise to those of you who know me or the channel at all. So I had a lot of things on my list. My list is pretty long. I wrote it out before we even considered, like, talked about doing this as a thing, as a video. I was like, what games do I want to play this year? A lot like Babe, mine are kind of older generally, although where she tends to go for things that she knows she loves and we don't have a lot of time for. I'm just trying to get our shrink wraps taken off in the literal and not so literal sense, as it were. But I was really looking forward to Earth. It was getting a lot of buzz. It kind of came out of nowhere. It was one of those things that was like, I'd never heard of it at all. And then all of a sudden it's like on every feed I have on YouTube and how awesome it is and all that. So that was going to be my number one looking forward to game. But our buddy David accidentally backed it twice and gave us one. Hey. So we've actually played Earth already. And I know, again, this isn't exactly
Hey, though, you can play it more than once.
Wait. Write that down, babe.
I've never seen a board game work like that.
Right? Yeah, that's true. A lot of the ones we play, although it's a very long play, you do only play it once and then you're done. But yeah, we were really looking forward to that. I thought it was really good. That is an excellent little game. People are talking about, it's like this, it's like that, it's replacing this, it's replacing that. I don't think it replaces anything at all. I think it's its own experience. I think it's a very fulfilling experience. I think it's really fun to play. A lot of the time, I don't think you have any idea who's winning. And I think that helps the game also because, there's a lot of times where score tracks are visible and everything's known. And sometimes it gets a little disheartening for half or more of a table halfway through a game. You know what I'm saying? So I like these games that don't really tell you how well you're doing until you tally it all up because you just keep invested in it. And because it's not something that's, out there and visible and something to see, you don't pay attention to it. You just get into the game and play the game instead of watching the scores the whole time. And I feel like this is one of those games. It's incredibly rewarding. There's like basically 4 or 5 times, I think, in an entire game when something happens and you go, oh, I can't do anything. Like 4 or 5 times in the entire game, when anybody takes an action, you go, oh, I can't do anything. I don't have enough Earth for that. Other than that, you have something to do literally every turn. Whether you're choosing, somebody else is choosing, it doesn't matter. It's like Christmas every day. Oh, you're choosing that? Cool. Well, I get to do this, this, and this. Oh, you're choosing that? Well, cool. I get to do this, this, and that. Now I'm going to choose this, and I get to do this, this, and that. Like I said, the only really time that backfires is if somebody goes to build, and then the next person builds, and it's kind of like, oh, well, I just spent all my stuff, so I can't really do anything. But it's so rare in that game. Like every day's Christmas, it's really cool. So I've kind of traded my looking forward to a review of Earth.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to do a review of Earth because Tiffany, you played it too, right? Like I think we've all played it, and in fact, I own the game and I like the game, but I have some critical things to say about the game as well. But I will save that for the review. But yeah, Erock, would you actually like to tell us what you're looking forward to playing at the con?
I got to bust the glasses out again. I got this list going on the phone. I didn't really make a list as far as, this is my number one and this is stuff. This is just stuff that came to me.
You're fired.
I'll tell you what, but I actually
go by your heart.
Once I actually read the list, I'm like, oh, there it is. I very much want to play War of the Ring, the card game. I did manage to pick it up about a month ago. We haven't had a chance to get it to the table. It doesn't seem that difficult, but it does seem really thematic. And it looks like a really fun experience, and I'd like to play that very much. So I'm hoping to get a play of that in. My game I want to play was like 30 seconds, and all the other.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have any trouble finding somebody to play that game with you.
You're going to like it. I played it on the cruise. It was a lot of fun.
Cool. While I still have the microphone, thank you very much. I also want to say that probably even more than any specific game, I look forward to just things that happen at a con that you just, just things. You meet people, you make friends, you end up in a game you didn't plan on. Something I'm looking forward to this year is they're having copies of Rebellion and
Beyond the Sun?
Ooh, Beyond the Sun, yes. And the hotness table, even though neither of those are actually hotness right now, because they're supposed to be like fully maxed out to the, to the gills with the upgrades and stuff. And, I know Babe doesn't like upgrades at all, but I really like some upgrades.
Are you saying the real hotness is the friends you made along the way?
The real hotness is the friends you've made along the way, yes. And, I was talking to Babe about this earlier. I get it with Rebellion. I get how you uber pimp that out, right? You could get little planets. You put the fully painted ships and minis and stuff. You put those on little stands and stuff. You could really make that game look good. How do you do that with Beyond the Sun? It's a tech tree with cards. So I'm intensely curious what they did to that game.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's why Beyond the Sun is there. That might have to do with its expansion or something.
Yeah, is
I
it?
don't know.
That expansion's
all
not
I know
that
for
young.
sure is that Rebellion, because I asked Tom, I was like, why is there a 7-year-old Star Wars game in the hot games table? He's like, because I pimped it out. I was like, oh, okay. I thought he just wanted to show up Last Light, which is probably going to be there in the hot games area.
Which I mean is really cool because, if you've seen us and our opinions, you know that I love Rebellion. I think that's an absolutely fantastic game. So the opportunity, some people are going to have some really cool opportunity to play that game with some really maxed out components that they may never have a chance to get. So
yeah,
awesome.
The other choice about it, being hot games, is it's like a 4-hour game. So yeah, you're going to watch other people play it probably. Is what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll look pretty.
Yeah, indeed. All right, John, what's up for you?
So there's just like Erock. There's so many that I have on my list. There's no any particular order, so I'm just gonna go with this one that caught my eye recently, and that is Caldera Park. If you've ever played Castles of Burgundy, you've got the animals, and they go out into the pasture, and they score points based on how many animals and stuff. Caldera Park just takes that essence of that game and creates an entire game out of it. It looks nice and simple. I love tile placement games like Cascadia and stuff like that. So like it gives me kind of that Cascadia vibe, easy to teach, a lot of depth to it, fun tile placement. So that's the one I'm looking forward probably to play the most, just because it reminds me of one of my favorite games, which is Cascadia.
Yeah, I love tile placement games too. And so when you told me about that Caldera Park or Parks, I can't remember, Caldera Park.
I think it's just Park.
Yeah, it's an evolution of another game like Safari Park or something, right? Like I can't remember.
I think
the
so,
whole
yeah.
series, but yeah, so that made my list too, although it's down like around number 10 or something. I will definitely play that one with you.
Sweet.
But the next game that I want to play is on my list because I want to play it with you all. Particularly, I want to play it with Tiffany because I just have to say that I am over Everdell. I never want to play Everdell again. I've played it multiple times and I've had a bad experience every time for one reason or another. But my little Everdell might be the experience that I'm looking for, right? I don't think it's going to have that crazy AP inducement that I see in other people when I play that game. I think it's going to be half as long as Everdell. I think that when the game is over, I will know who won instead of 15 minutes later after I've walked away from the table. It's got all the cute woodland creatures and everything. I think this is what I wanted Everdell to be when I play it. So I really want to play that game, and I really want to play it with you all in particular.
Can we all pre-agree to aim all to take that stuff at Steven so we can make sure he hates this one too?
Yeah, I don't know if it has. What's funny?
There's one way to find out.
If the game were full of take that, and I knew that, I'd be okay with it. But like having one sneaky take that card buried in this deck somewhere, I'm like, what the bleep is that?
There's 2 thieves in the entire game. And you just get hit with it out of nowhere.
Well, I thought there was only one. I thought there was just the one.
I think there's 2 copies of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
What we actually should do is just like pick one of the expansions he doesn't know about and then slip the regular game in and call it.
Recommended playing actual Everdell.
I think I would
the
notice.
Looks the same. No, it's not.
Like, look, it's my little Everdell. It's called Spire Crest.
You would notice.
Today.
Yeah, you would notice, but I think we could gaslight you into getting halfway through it before you figured it out.
Oh, by the way, when I was talking about tile placement games, Neutral put in the comments Carcassonne, but fun. For those of you who don't know what that is, I saw this game Sanssouci, and it was an award-winning game, and they're running a crowdfunding campaign. And there was somebody put it in the virtual flea market. I saw it pop up for a reasonable price, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's a tile laying game. I would play that. It didn't look like anything particularly special, but their crowdfunding campaign was like, it's Carcassonne but fun, and I'm like, screw that game. I'm not playing that game ever, right? Like, I like Carcassonne. Don't insult a game that I really, really like.
Nothing like,
fired.
insulting like one of the greatest games ever.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I got thousands of games to choose from. I'm not picking yours now. Thanks.
Yeah.
He's like Joe Montana, except he can throw the ball.
Yeah, right? Like, what?
It's Joe Montana, but he's got a Johnny Unitas haircut. Best of both worlds.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're on the second lap around my screen. So, Tiffany, what else are you looking forward to?
All right, so the next game is one that's come up in conversation that we've had recently. It's another game that I really want to play because it's cute. Babe has stopped letting me play and get as many cute games recently.
Yeah, there is a limit. Yes.
So I have to just get them in at the con apparently because the rest of the year is not cute game time. But so my second game is another cute game that I really can't resist. It looks really adorable. It's Creature Comforts. Every time I see this box, my heart is like, oh, like it's super just.
It actually makes that noise. I just want to say.
Every time I see it, like when we're in the game store.
You should get that looked at.
If I scroll past it on like an advertisement on Facebook or something, like it's always super cute. So I am definitely going to take advantage of the opportunity if I get it while we're at the con to play Creature Comforts because it's just so stinking cute.
Well, since you like so stinking cute games so much, after you all trick me into playing Everdell, I'll set up Silverwood Grove on a table and say, Tiffany, look at how cute this game is.
No.
Game.
The Geneva Convention outlines rules. There is decorum, sir.
Yeah, the 2022 edition.
A tribunal.
Yeah.
Did they put out a new rulebook that has all the rules in it? That'd be great.
Who knows?
Does it talk about scoring and how that works?
Oh my gosh, why did I bring that game up?
I got PTSD.
Yeah, exactly, right? That was a Dice Tower convention exercise for us, exercise in futility. So, yeah. All right. Quick, Erock, start talking about 17 more games like you want to.
Okay, excellent. So this is kind of an offshoot to this list. We were at Patrick's house about 6 months ago. And the discussion came up because I noticed that he had, now I forgot the name of it entirely.
This is like looking up a meatball recipe, and they're talking about how they used to go to Summers with their father and cook it on the porch before they'll tell you how to cook the meatballs.
Excuse me for a moment.
Now, the glasses have made their return.
Yes, indeed. Oh, Blood on the Clocktower.
Mm.
So I noticed that Patrick had Blood on the Clocktower, and I was like, interesting that you have that. And then Patrick was like, well, if you borrow it, why don't you learn it, and then we can play. And I thought, that's an interesting offer. And then we finished our game night, and we went home. And then about a month later, we bought it at our game store. So it's been in shrink since then, which isn't that long ago. If you know us and me telling this story, it would normally go like, so 4 years later, here we are. But this one's not that long ago. It's kind of recent, but it has been on the shelf in the shrink for a while. So I'd kind of like to get it off the shelf and play. Everything that I've seen about that says it's a really cool werewolf-y, social deduction game with a bit more meat and maybe intelligence to it. So I'd like to give that a shot. I can't say a whole lot about it because I don't know a whole lot about it yet. I watched a couple of videos before, we went and purchased it just to see if it was something that seems interesting. I mean, I've always liked social deduction. I've always enjoyed this genre. I mean, yes, it brings out the best in people, doesn't it? Sometimes, but it, if you get some people who actually know what they're doing and know how to play these games in a game, it's a really interesting experience. Oh, babe, but you're so fun. That's all that really matters is that you're
So
fun.
if you
This-
want to upset any Blood on the Clocktower fan, you tell them this truth. It's literally Mafia. The game is Mafia. It's just Mafia. There's
Really?
nothing wrong with that. Mafia. It's literally Mafia. That's all it is. It's a great game, but people act like it's this greatest thing since sliced bread. Mafia's been around for like 20 years.
Yeah,
It's a good thing. It's just
Absolutely.
Mafia.
It's the
It-
newest iteration of such,
It
but
is not hard to get played though. There's that set aside room for social deduction games in the back corner, and in the evening, like probably every evening, there'll be people playing. Blood
Yeah,
on
when the
Clock
sun
Tower.
goes down, they're playing it until sunrise.
Yeah.
If you want to play
Well-
they will have it there.
I'm gonna look to be a moderator here so that I can do it for my friends and stuff. So I might. Well, we got like a week left, so I got a lot of research and watching to do and reading rules and stuff. But that's my aim. Actually, is to be the moderator for my friends, of which you guys are welcome if I actually get this all done and say, do you guys want to play Blood on the Clock Tower?
Yeah, I mean, I would
I
try
know
it,
that-
right? How long
I
is
know
the
Patrick
session?
was trying to play, so I'm pretty sure between the 27 friends that we have going to Dives Tower, we can get a good group going at some point. If I do manage to fulfill my own commitment to myself here.
Because I see groups play it for like hours. I don't know, is it hours long, or are they just playing a 20-minute
depends on the
game
group.
20 times?
It depends on the group and
Probably,
the player count.
6 of one, half dozen of the other, kind of a.
You could
I
easily
think
play it in an hour if you were not role playing.
One of the videos that we watched made it seem like it's going to take your evening. Like it's a pretty, it's a commitment. One of them did, but they might be like playing multiple.
Yeah, like a dinner
rounds
party
and-
kind of deal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
where
That's
you
exactly
do
what
I got
they
that
did.
feeling. Like, yeah, I agree. Some of the videos we watched, it seemed like, but I also felt like they got together intentionally, like 8 or 10 or 12 people, to do that as long as they possibly could that day. So it could be multiple sessions,
Well,
after
it's-
one another, etc.
Daylight phase can last as long as you want it. So like you can make it take all evening. You can make it take half an hour. It just depends on like what you want to do as a moderator and the kind of group you have. If you got people that are like into LARPing and stuff like that, you could play one game in like 12 hours and it's the same game that you played in 1 hour. There's just a lot more back and forth and role playing put into it. So it varies greatly on your group.
Somebody should make a social deduction game that plays in 5 minutes or less.
Somebody
that's a
should, right?
That's great. I wonder what's next on my list.
All right, John, let's hear what's next on your list.
All right, so murder. It's similar to that though. I'm glad you did that segue because I love. There's 2 or 3 genres of games: drafting, trick taking, social deduction that I just love. Even if the game's not the greatest, I can still have a good time with it because I just love those mechanisms so much. So this next one combines 2 of those mechanisms and it creates a new kind of game. So it's a social deduction game that you can play with 4 players, which is already just like that's better than most of them because you want 5 to 8 to usually have a good time with social deduction. Anything less than that, you might as well just play something else. So it's a game where you can do 4-player social deduction, just like Murder on the Cosmic Express. It's in that same vein, and that's why I like that game so much as well. And it's called Inside Job. And what it is, it's a trick-taking game, and one person is the traitor. They are trying to throw the missions off and not have the different sets succeed. And essentially, it's just like a trick-taking game. You play a card from your hand. That's the lead card. There's a trump set. But what's cool about it is everybody has their own thing that they're trying to do, and the trump card is set by the mission that round. So you'll flip it up, and it'll say, the second card played this round has to be higher than the first card played this round, and pink is the trump. So you've got a lot of cards in your hand, you got a lot of information, and it's not so much about playing the trick-taking aspect of it, it's more about trying to figure out who's subtly trying to lose these missions. Because if you win a mission, you get a briefcase. If the bad guy ever gets 5 briefcases, or you don't succeed enough missions, the bad guy wins. So I'm just really interested to see that take on social deduction that can be played at 4 players, and a trick-taking game that's social deduction.
It's like The Crew with a traitor?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I would play that. That sounds cool.
And it's one of those games that take like 15 minutes. So you play it, and you're like, that was fun, let's do another one. You do a quick other one, and then you go play something else. So it's that good kind of filler that doesn't take long, easy to learn, difficult to master. Play a couple of games of that, and then you go play a more medium or heavyweight game. So it checks off a lot of boxes. I like the theme of it, and it sounds really interesting. So That's definitely one of the ones I'm looking to the most.
That does sound fun, but I have to say that these kind of games are quick to learn, easy to play if you have a history of trick-taking games. If you do not have a history of trick-taking games, right, babe? These games can be brutal trying to teach. Right. Exactly. It's one of those things, like I've been playing these trick-taking games since I could see above the table and play cards with my family. So it's almost second nature to me. You guys are probably the same. You've probably been playing hearts and spades and every other thing. We used to play Oh Hell when I was a kid, like all these trick-taking games. So it's ingrained into me. It'd probably be like I could forget how to walk and talk, but I would still remember how to play a trick-taking game. And for people that are older than, say, 30 and have never done that, this is a surprisingly hard thing for them to grasp and understand. And it just baffles me. And in no way am I, it's not about them. I'm not saying, well, how dumb they are. No, it just baffles me how big that gap is if you're on the other side of it.
Well, if you think about it, it's an intractable problem, right? Because if you have a trick-taking game with missions, those missions have to be hard for people who are good at trick-taking.
The crew is hard.
So if you aren't good at trick-taking, you're just
trick-taking.
I am probably the worst person at trick-taking games ever, probably, because I'm so horrendously bad at trick-taking games.
Just take the tricks.
So I don't even know what that means, but at first, when you were like, "There's a trader," I was like, "Oh, I would be good as a trader because I don't know what I'm doing anyways."
True, you'd be like, "I don't know."
It's beneficial. Yeah.
What am I supposed to play? I don't know.
To Erock's point, I grew up playing cutthroat spades as a kid, so like I can play trick-taking games in my sleep. But I think as gamers, especially hobby gamers, we take for granted the perspicacity we have when it comes to these kind of things, because you can look at a game and go, oh, it's got this from this game, it's got that, I know how these mechanics work, oh, I see where they intersect, and you can basically know the gist of a game just by the experience you've had playing similar games. Somebody that doesn't have that, it's like ancient Greek to them, and it's hard to bridge that gap of just like, you just want the higher number. Well, why is that lower number win? Well, that's the Trump suit. What does that mean? We grew up with it. We've played hundreds of games. We know, but someone can be extremely intelligent, but they just don't have that foundation. So they're just like, I don't understand this.
Yep. There's a high bar.
Yeah.
And I'm very short, so.
Same.
All right. Well, let's do a third lap around. I think next on my list is one that I just learned about a few days ago, but it's 1 to 5 players. It plays in a little over an hour. It's got some interesting like tile placement stuff going on.
Does it start with a W?
It starts with 2 W's. World Wonders. And I'm interested to play that too because I don't know when that's going to be available in the U.S. for people to get. Right. So
I think it's going to be the game of the con. I think it'll be the most checked out game of the con.
Well, there may just be one at the Hot Games table.
Oh, is it just Hot Games?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Oh, actually, I did look at the library. It was listed as Hot Games and not on the shelf. Like Beyond the Sun is both, for instance, right? You could get one from the library if you don't play the one in the Hot Games area. But a lot of the Hot Games, there's just the one that's at the Hot Games table. So,
wait, what game are we talking about?
World Wonders.
Stephen, why don't you tell us more?
And it's going to be the top checked out game.
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, it's only Steven said it's only in the hot, but I think it's going to be the top talked about game of the con.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this could be the next Earth game that everybody's talking about because it's simple. It's simple to learn. I think it's simple to learn, but sort of difficult to master. It's got a lot of stuff going on, and the idea is you're drafting. Open drafting, yeah. So you're getting these tiles to put in your city, and you're putting these different types of city areas together, like markets.
If I could just do one correction, it's actually action points. Every round you get 9 coins.
You get coins, and those coins are action. Yeah, but it's still open drafting. You're still
there's a pool of available stuff, and you spend the actions to get them.
That's what open drafting
is, John. I just wanted to clarify, it's action based.
We have a video on this. Just saying.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah. So but you're not only getting these tiles like the roads, which can separate, because you can't put two different types of, it's like there's zoning problems. You can't put two different types of like markets and housing or whatever next to each other. You got to put roads between them or something. And then if you make a specific, the way I think it works is if you make a specific space on your board, then you can get these wonders of the world and build them in there. And they all have these cool little wooden minis. Like, here's an actual big ass aqueduct you stick there. Here's the pyramids, which is 3 big pyramids you stick on there.
Tapestry.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. This is like it actually works and it's
useful.
part of your main board. It's not some weird dumb added puzzle for no reason.
It's the puzzle it's the things from Tapestry, but as an actual puzzle in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So I briefly sort of saw a video on it. The production looks good. It fits in that sort of sweet space for the kind of games that I would like to acquire for my gaming group. So being able to play it and see if, hey, maybe I should be buying this game. It's always nice to play a game before I buy it. You watch a video and you think you're going to like a game, and then maybe your only chance to actually play it is get it, and then you get it, you play it, and it's just not the experience you wanted. And then now you got to trade it or sell it or give it away or something. And so, there's that cycle. But if you can play a game first, you can break that cycle. You can find out if you actually like it. And so this looks like something that I will really like. And it got... the Dice Tower folks gave it rave reviews. In fact, I think it's maybe Arcane Wonders is bringing it to...
Yeah, they're doing
so
the
maybe
American
it's Dice Tower Essentials, right? Maybe, I don't know. Isn't that usually how that works? But either way, it's going to come to North America, but I don't know when. So I'd like to get it played, and so that when it finally comes, I can see if I want to get a copy of it or not.
Yeah, so what happened is Tom Vasso went to Brazil and got a copy of the game. So the game that's going to be in the hot table section is the Brazilian copy of the game because it's not out in the U.S. yet. But him and the crew liked it so much that they literally got that non-English copy and are going to put it in the hot game section because they believe in it that much that it's going to be a big hit.
Yeah, cool. So anyway,
Brazilian game.
Yeah, man, good games come from everywhere. I actually don't know
Indeed,
who
they
the
do.
original publisher is, but it is.
America,
it is,
but whatever.
it is a brand new game, 2023. So yeah,
USA.
I would. Yeah, I think Germany might have something to say about that. But I do think that this could be Game of the Year type of material, right?
Yeah. I think it'll be in the contention at least.
Yeah, particularly because it's medium weight or whatever, so a lot more people will play it. I think
More
a lot
accessible.
of heavier games get overlooked because not enough people play them, right? So anyway, so there you go.
It's funny you mentioned like looking at a game and kind of seeing if you like it or not. You're not sure. There's a lot of games that I see and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like that. But every so often one comes around and I'll look at it and go, just from the initial thing, I'm like, I am going to like this game. And anytime I've ever gotten that feeling, it's never been wrong. And I have that about World Wonders. I really think it's going to be a hit.
Well, it's interesting. You were talking about a filler earlier. I like to play fillers at the con because I can't tell from watching a gameplay video or whatever. Like, I just can't tell if a filler is going to be fun for a group. But you play it at a con and then you're like, okay, well, now that's a filler I could add to my collection.
I mean,
know
if
that's
I
gonna go
pitched
over well.
Can't Stop to you, Can't Stop's not a very thrilling sounding game, but when you play it, you're just like, this is addictive.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you watch a video on it and you're like, maybe, I don't know. But then you play it and you're like, yeah, right? So I do have one pretty high on my list, a filler that I've never played. So I don't know if we'll get to that in today's video or not. But because now it's not my turn anymore, Erock. See how I talk about one game and then pass it off to somebody else?
No. I'll have to take notes one of these times.
All right, Tiffany.
Put your glasses on.
You're up, Tiffany. What do you got?
All right, so my third and final entry into this, I can probably make some stuff up, but it's not going to be based on anything, informed. My third thing that I'm excited about. Thinking back to my previous cons, some of my favorite experiences, my favorite memories, the things that I love the most. I remember one year I was introduced to the game Mysterium, and they had a copy there at Dice Tower. It wasn't in English. It was like the only copy on U.S. soil. Nobody had ever heard of it. It was just this game. I don't remember if it was on one of the hotness tables or not, or if it was just I don't know how I would have stumbled onto it if it wasn't set out.
Isn't the game Polish?
That's how I
originally?
Yeah.
Might have been Ukrainian originally, even before the Polish.
But yeah, might be
Polish.
Europe.
But so I discovered it at a Dice Tower and played with friends and absolutely fell in love. It was so much fun. We all clamored to be able to be the ghost and give out the hint cards and try to guide the group, to the answer as to what happened that fateful night. It was just so much fun. And so I think that's my third entry into this list is just games that I don't know anything about, that I've never heard of, that, like somebody just walks up to a table and plops it down and says, hey, I heard this is good. Do you guys want to try it out? And then out of nowhere, you're like, holy shit, this is the best game ever. How do I get it? So like, that's, I think what I'm excited about is not necessarily, I mean, I could study and prepare and I couldn't really, I don't have the attention span for it, but I could do all the stuff that Babe does to try to learn all of these games that are going to be there and come out and everything. But I think for me, it's just like that organic experience of, hey, what's this? Let's bust it out and take a look. And then falling in love with something that you didn't expect to be incredible. So, just going in with an adventurous spirit and enjoying going whatever way the con takes you. I think that's my third and final thing that I'm super excited about for the con.
Just like Erock was talking about Blood on Clocktower, he's like, hey, learn this and come back and play it. People like Erock and I that prepare and watch videos and read ahead and being ready for stuff, people notice that. And I've literally had people do the same thing. They'll walk up and go, hey, I got this new game. I'm like, that's really cool. They go, learn it for me. And they just hand me the game. And it's just like,
here you go. Thanks.
And then what Tiffany was saying, like just being part of the con and going around and seeing stuff, you're like, oh, and it grabs you out of nowhere. There's been several games I've grabbed at a con, just sat down and learned from the rule book, which is quite challenging at times. But then you play it and you're just like, this is a neat game that I would have never looked twice at, but something caught my eye. You just sit down and you play it and you're like, man, this is really cool.
John loves to share new games at the con that he's played that he's loved. Like, I've forgotten which one it was at. We played Red Cathedral, and you were like, I love that game. And then you must have taught it like 4 or 5 more times. You would just be walking around the hall looking for people who were setting up Red Cathedral. Like, can I teach you this game? I love this game. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy teaching. I really like you said, sharing a game that I love with other people. And there's a lot of people that love board gaming, but they don't have that drive to like try to learn it from the rule book, or they will, but it's kind of messy because rule books are not always the best. So like to be able to take a little bit of that strain off of them and just be like, hey, just get to the enjoyable part faster. Like that to me is just a lot of fun. So I will go around if I'm not playing anything and just look for the teacher wanted sign and see what I can teach people.
Indeed.
All right.
They hate it when I do it.
I do. I'm like, we are trying to do stuff. We are playing games.
I just teach them to play this game for like 45 minutes or an hour. It's okay. Don't worry.
You set up the game we're going to play. I'm going to go teach them this one real quick.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be over here 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, Erock. What's next on your list?
Okay. Let's see what the list
Glasses are back.
All right, so I'm going to shotgun a bunch of names at you, and then I'm going to pick one.
No, we're going to do the shotgun of names at the end.
Oh, we are? Okay, fine. Well, then the one I'm going to pick right now, I'm going to go with Hamlet. We backed the Hamlet, the deluxe Kickstarter Founders Edition or whatever, which,
is it the one where Shakespeare weird. Comes to your house and teaches it to you? Like Ignacy?
Yes, Ignacy's coming over later this evening, actually. No, I'm kidding. It's not by Portal Games. But one of the reasons I actually backed this, because it was the Founders Deluxe version and it was $60. And I was like, thank you for being reasonable. I appreciate that.
That's the base pledge for any other Kickstarter.
Right, exactly. You don't even get the box for $60 for some of these other places.
Yeah,
So,
that's the first rank of you don't get anything, you just believe in the project.
right.
60
Yeah.
bucks.
I
Here you
believe in the
go.
project. $60.
This is so when it's in the back route, you can decide if you want to give us real money.
Exactly. So this has been on our shelf in the shrink since the Kickstarter came in a couple months ago. Just another one of those that, came in, we haven't had a chance to bust it open, still sitting on the shelf. I've watched videos on it before and since. I'm curious. This is not one of those that I'm like, this is probably going to be my favorite game ever. No, but I am very curious about it because it seems to be a little bit different than a lot of other things going on. People that talk about it that also have this background knowledge also have a little bit of a comparison to like Roads and Boats in there. And I'm like, oh, you're really getting some like background, kind of like roots.
Now you're enticing me.
Yeah, a little bit. So I'm not really sure about, there's a lot of times I can look at Babe and say, you're going to love this game. You know what I'm saying? And, and I'm right. And there's other times where I'm looking at them, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to like this game, but I definitely want to try it and see what it's going on there and see if it's something that I'm going to like. And I think this is one of those that I just really am curious about. Is this going to be something that we really like, or is this going to be something that's like, yeah, that's different, but not so much, For those of you, I haven't actually talked about the game at all, but basically it's a kind of a logistics game, and you're building a town, and very much like, what's the Pillars of the Earth? Very much like Pillars of the Earth. The point of the game is to build the church in the center of the town. And unlike most games, it's not really about the actions that you take so much as it's about the logistics that you set up to be able to deliver the goods around the different parts of the town. And to make that interesting, it is polyomino, but it is weird polyomino. They intentionally made everything in these weird off shapes. And when you build your village, you're expected to put them together so that it makes sense. So that like roads match and things like that. Basically, you have to be able to get to the tile kind of a thing. From my brief video watchings and stuff, I'm probably messing something up along the way. But you end up with these completely unique looking villages because you might be putting a shape like looks something like this next to something that's like has an oblong on it. Like these are really diverse shapes that you're putting down on a table to make a village. So I think that's really interesting because it seems to me that that's going to increase the replayability of it a lot, because instead of just squares interlocking with each other or, Tetrisy shapes, you have this weird like connection relationships going on a game that's about the connections and the logistics anyway. So it just seems really cool to me, and I'm looking forward to giving it a shot.
Cool.
Sounds like you can make a game like that about Florida highways.
Is that in the library, or are you bringing your own?
Probably not bringing our own. If we can get away with it, I'm bringing like 37 games that we sold on the flea market. So
yeah, we have to afford that War of the Ring. So yeah.
Indeed, yes.
Yes. I'll trade you all 37 of these for War of the Ring.
I would have done that, no questions. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Here's a truckload of games.
That's basically.
Yeah, basically, that's how it works.
Basically what we did. Yeah.
All right, cool. John, what's next on your list?
I was going to say World Wonders, as you could tell by how excited I was for the game. So I'll just pivot and say it's a game called Tiletum or Tiletum. I don't know how it's pronounced, but essentially it is rondel with action selection, and the higher the number of resources you get, usually you get the opposite of actions. So it's do I want to grab 6 of these resources but only get 1 action this turn? Do I want to do 3 and 3? So it seems like a really interesting game of just like trying to get that action economy to match with getting the right resources and timing it. And like I said, there's always those mechanics that I love no matter what, and rondels are one of them. I wish I could get people to play Merlin with me because I love that game and it's a great rondel game. But that's what got me excited about it. So I'm really interested to try that game and see how that one is because of the rondel action selection.
Yeah, that's a pretty recent game from Board and Dice, and they they usually have a demo table set up, but they do have that new Barcelona game coming out, so I don't know what they're going to have on the demo table, but at the very least it's in the library, right? So All right, cool. I mean, I would be interested in playing that one. It didn't make my list, but I would play it, like, if you asked me to. All right, let's see. We're getting close to an hour here, so I think maybe it's shotgun time. Are you all ready for
Shotgun
shotgun time?
time.
All right, so I'm going to run through a quick list here of what I have, and then I'll just pass it around the horn. All right, so I had Trekking Through History, because I like that series of games and haven't played that one. I think it's the best one, probably. Valbara I'm interested in, because it seems like it has that whole Libertalia thing going on, but plays in 20 minutes for 5 players. That's Life, or Verflixt. That's a roll and move filler game that I was talking about, the one that I would like to try. Silicon Valley is a recent delivered crowdfunding game. It's from Scott Alms and has polyominoes and is about like doing a Silicon Valley startup. So, I'm just interested in that. Rolling Heights is a game that I would probably don't want to own, but would like to play. You roll the meeples and how the meeples land triggers some actions, right? Starship Captains has got this worker upgrade thing going on that sounds interesting and has gotten some good reviews. I'm interested in that. Expeditions, which I put in the thumbnail of this video, the latest Stonemaier game. It's going to be there in the hot games area, so I'd like to check that out. Caldera Park, John mentioned. Wild Tiled West, I'm on the fence about, so I'd like to play it just to see.
If we get to it.
If I get to it, I wouldn't mind it. Pioneer Days, because I make John play a bad TMG game every year, so this might be the exception, or just follow that pattern. And Tumbling Dice
follows suit.
Yeah, right. And Tumbling Dice, because I've never played it. Like, I literally have a list of more than 30 games, so I'm going to stop here. But Tumbling Dice, I've just never played it. And you just roll dice down a thing. It looks fun. I don't know.
You've been trying to get me to teach you Pioneer Days for like 3 years now, and we just never get around to it.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't want to talk bad about it. It's
It's
fine.
okay. It's a solid game. It's not great.
I look at them and I think they're going to be fun, and then I play them, and usually the TMG games, I don't like them. The Orleans, I really like. That's not really them, but they imported it. Whatever. Anyway, all right, Tiffany, you want to shotgun some games at us?
So I don't have any games, but I will tell you what I'm super excited about.
Yeah, do it.
Shopping. There are going to be vendors. There's going to be stuff that you can buy. There's going to be games. There's going to be upgraded components. There's going to be inserts that you can buy, special dice you can buy, like all sorts of vendors, all sorts of shopping stuff. I'm super excited to browse and to make some purchases. Hopefully not so much that I get in trouble, but I'm definitely excited to do some nerdy shopping at Dice Tower.
I don't really like shopping there at the vendor area, but I like to support the vendors. So like that Homestead whatever family that sells the freeze-dried snacks, like I bought some and I ate some myself and just gave some away, right? I'm going to go to the Stronghold booth or whatever it is and just see if they have the promo cards for Ares Expedition, because I like the game. Like I will pay the overpaid price for that just because they're there, right? Like they came, they're supporting this, I will support them. And I'll look around for something else. Meeplesaurus, I usually go try to buy some little something. Like I probably don't even want it, but it's just bling and whatever, I want to support them. So
there's always one item I find there every year that I'm like, this is really cool. The first year it was the wooden Gloomhaven insert, and ever since I've always found something that was just like, okay, I'm really glad they had this here. So I'm excited for that too.
Yeah. Cool.
Is Birkett going to be there this year?
I think so.
Oh, is that Game Toppers? Is that what that is?
Yeah, if anybody watching this,
they usually are.
And if you're going, at least walk by and check out what they're doing. We have the homes. Is that right, babe? We have the homes.
I think so.
Topper.
No, the Watson? I don't know. It might be the Watson. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I think it is the Watson. It's not the Moriarty, which is the giant one. It's the one just one shy of that.
Martin says they're not going to be there.
Martin Pring says they're not going to be there, yeah.
Boo.
Oh, that's too bad. They used to go to all of them before the pandemic and all that, and I just highly recommend it. This is the luxury of the luxury hobby here. But if you spend a lot of time playing games, it's really nice to have that dedicated surface to play the games on. It is super nice. You do not need it. You can play games on a table. You can play games on a carpet. It does not matter, but it's just super nice to have that surface. You rest your arms on. You got little card holders, and I can put this thing in here, and I can hold my drink, and it's not on the table. It's just super nice, man.
Not a sponsor. We just like them.
Yes, just like them.
All right. So before I let Erock talk for 20 straight minutes, if anybody in the comments wants to list some games that they're interested in or want us to play and report back on, go ahead and do that. We'll catch those at the end. All right, Erock.
Or just any suggestions. Let us know what you think you should play.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm trying to get a play of Three Kingdoms Redux. I've had that for a little bit, and it gets really good talk, as it were. I still got Pax Pamir and Oath on my list. I am, in theory, a huge Cole Worley fan. I just can't ever seem to get them learned on the table. Sorry?
No John Company?
That's also on my list. I didn't get there yet, but yes, I have Oath, Pax Pamir, and John Company all in shrink on our shelves.
Oath is not a con game, man. Come on.
Which one?
Oath is not a game to play at a con.
Yeah, I know. That's probably not, I know, but it's on my list because I looked around. I'm like, what games do I want to play? These are the games I want to play.
Our lists are mostly aspirational. We know the realities of these lists.
Yes, the emphasis on the ass.
These lists are who we want to be, not who we are.
Yes, I want to be the person who plays Cole Worley games. Yes, absolutely. We still haven't played On Mars, and we're Vital Lacerda fans. And Vinos is on there, another one. I picked up a game on a flash sale at our FLGS a while ago called De Vulgari Eloquentia. I'd still like to get that to the table. Let's see. I got Cuba Libre on there. That's probably a pipe dream. I'd really like, I got a number of the coin games because this is another, in theory, I really want to play these and like these games. So Cuba Libre is kind of the stepping stone of the coin games, and I'd really like to play it once.
Isn't that short?
I don't think it's all that long. I think it's just more of a, who knows how to play this coin game and can teach me how to play.
Oh, okay.
That's the hardest part.
I think Z knows how to play that one.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Well, I would really love, because I'm trying to build up to Fire in the Lake, which is supposed to be really awesome. So, but don't start your coin experience at Fire in the Lake kind of a deal. So, anyway, moving up my list, we still have Feudum untouched on our shelves from when it shipped for the Kickstarter years and years ago. We need to make a decision on that. Like, it's probably the prettiest game we have. And, I'm not talking about all the extra BS that we make or buy or whatever and throw in there. I just think the art on it is gorgeous, but at some point we have to play that and make a decision if it's worth taking up all that space on our shelves. So that's on our list here. I've got Mind Management, which I thought looked super awesome. Haven't had a chance to break it out of shrink.
I want to play that game. Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, cool. Escape Plan, another Lacerda we haven't actually played yet. And Trismegistus, we bought that at the FLGS because it looked really cool. Kind of a second generation almost of Alchemists, and never got it to the table. So
I got a copy of that in a mystery box from Board and Dice, right? That's from Board and Dice, right? Yeah, and I don't know. That's what I traded for It's a Wonderful World, actually, I think. My story about trading for that. So anyway,
I don't think there's enough hours in the con to get through that list, buddy. You gotta
there is not.
Pare it down.
Not. Because
that's why they're going on Monday.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I
Put that extra
also
time in.
just recently got War Room by Larry Harris. So there is no way I'm going to be ready to play at this con. There is no way. But now that's burning in me at this point too. I'm like, oh my God, I got War Room. Now I got to play War Room. So that's, for those of you who have never heard of it before this moment, Larry Harris was the creator of Axis and Allies, which came out 25 years ago. This is the successor to that he's been working on since, and it is ginormous. It is ridiculously big. It's like a 10 to 12 hour World War II experience for up to 8 people, I think. And I mean, I even bought the little push sticks for the troops and stuff. So
yeah, it's at a 1-to-1 scale, so you literally have to go invade Russia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Twilight Imperium World War II.
Basically, yes. So that's really high on my want to play list. Also, it's just not going to happen at this con. I am no way prepared for that. I actually gave Babe. I was talking to a couple of our friends when we played some games the other night, and I was like, "Yeah, Babe's going to go out of town because she works." It's like one of those, and she's like, "Well, I want to see." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "I'm trying to spare you from this. I'm not trying to." She's like, "No, I want to watch." I'm like, All right, cool. Then we'll do it when
It'll
you're
be
around.
epic.
So
I like
it gives me
watching
more
epic
motivation to actually learn the
experiences.
game. If Babe wants to hang out and watch 8 of us,
Just
beat
give her
our
one of
heads
those. Give her one of those
against that
push
wall.
sticks. She'll be happy moving stuff
Yeah.
around.
I've always wanted
Yeah.
one of those in a
Push
war
that
room.
army over there, please. Oh, thank you, babe.
Well, the best part
And-
is that when you get bored of watching, you go watch TV until something else interesting happens. It's the
Yeah,
best.
they'll yell
Yeah.
when it's
Yes,
when it's interesting.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much the extent of my list. I know I know there's going to be things that aren't even on my list that I'm going to be like, oh, I want to play that. Or, you know, like Babe said, you're walking around, just like, hey, I haven't seen you guys in forever. Yeah, okay, we'll play whatever it is you're playing. I don't even care, you know?
Oh yeah.
6-hour game. I'll teach you.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
the majority of games that I play every year at the con are games that were not on my list, right? So
Yep.
that's fun. And that's
Usually
fine.
it's ones I make you play.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, let's do it. Whatever. Let's play. All right, John. Well, speaking of, what's your shotgun?
Like I said to Steven before, especially about Silverwood Grove, even a bad game gives you a story. So a game's always worth playing at least once. But just a couple, like Unmatched. I haven't tried any of the Unmatched games, and now there's 37
Never
of
played
them.
that
People
either.
swear by them, so I want to try that out. It looks like a fun concept. Millie Fiore looks like a fun, if light game, just nice and simple. I have not gotten to play In the Hall of the Mountain King yet, so that's still on my list from previous years. That looks good. Thunder Road Vendetta is going to be on the hot game section. I want to try that out as well. Steven had mentioned possibly trying Revive, which I wouldn't mind doing. I don't know if I'd want to
Yeah,
teach
that
that
got
one. It
good
looks-
reviews too. I forgot about that. That should be on my list. I agree.
Add all
too
these to your
late.
list as I'm going.
No, it's too late. You missed
The
your
list
chance.
has been finalized.
Sorry, you're gonna play Oath the whole con.
And then feud them.
Right.
But that's all the ones that I have written down. But a big part of the game is walking around, seeing people, teaching games, stuff like that. So I'm much more this year focused on trying to get games that I love but haven't played in a long time to the shelf. Like I would really love to play Castles of Burgundy. I haven't played it in so
I
long.
love that game.
Yeah, and it's everyone acknowledges it's a great game, but you're like, you want to play it? And they're like, So like I really want to get a few games like that played. Broom Service, I always love Broom Service. A lot of just my favorite games. Libertalia 2 is amazing. Just like, hey, I love this game. Let's sit down and play it real quick. Everyone already know the rules. It'll be easy to refresh, and then you're just off to the races.
You know, I really wanted to play Shake That City at the con, and they had it on the cruise because they did, you know, Kickstarter preview or something for it. So they had a pre-production copy of the game, but I guess they pulled it from the library because the retail ones are coming out, but it doesn't hit retail till July 14th. So it's just randomly not at the con. I mean, some people will have it because the Kickstarter copies have arrived. In fact, there were some in the virtual flea market. So maybe I'll get a chance to play it, but it's not in the library. So yeah.
So
that's
I was on that cruise and I played that game, but I checked the library because you asked me to. It wasn't actually in the library. They had just reviewed it when they were leaving, and they just like grabbed it and tossed it into a box. So it was on like shelf 28, which is an actual and official shelf. It's an extra one they bring for different stuff. So it was just sitting there. So I'll bet that it just never made it into the library officially, and that's why
they
they're
don't.
not bringing
I don't
it.
think they put like those pre-production copies in the library, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But it is a really fun, light family weight game. So I'm sorry that you won't get to play it, but I would definitely recommend it for people if the theme of it looks interesting.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard about it, you have this cube that's pre-built like the pyramid in Camelot, the original one. And you put all the cubes in it, shake it, and then you push the button, and it leaves a stack of like, I think it's 9 cubes on the table, perfectly spaced out. Whoever's turn it is picks those cubes and puts them in their city, and then everyone else picks from the remaining pile of cubes, and you're just building a little city that scores points. You know, you want this building to be next to roads, and this building to be adjacent to residential buildings and things like that. So it's just a fast, fun, family weight game, but it's got a really neat gimmick, and I would definitely recommend giving it a try if you come across it.
All right, so
Good news, babe. Neutral says that Trismegistus is out of print and theoretically not ever to be played again. So, new trophy. Yes,
I saw
that is
that.
correct.
I'm like, that's my new favorite game, bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, always a hallmark of a really good game. It's never going to be printed again.
That's my favorite game.
Well, there's a lot of times where it's due to issues, you know, like
Yeah.
Glory to Rome.
Yeah, but usually the issue is not worth printing again.
99% of the time, but that 1%,
Yeah,
you
right.
get a trophy.
Well, maybe in 20 years, Restoration Games will restore it.
I always get upset when I got a great game and they like announce the first reprint, and I'm like, you bastards! I had a collector's edition. Now it's just another box on the shelf.
Yeah,
and it's the old version. Like not only, but now it's like, oh, that's the old one, because that's exactly. I got Ginkopolis and the Experts 2 weeks before they announced the reprint. That was $250 well spent. Yes, thank you very much.
Well, I'm that way with Libertalia. Like, I have the old one because I love it, but the new one is just so much better. If you break the old one out, people are like, "Oh, that's the old version."
You're absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah.
I kept the old version. I was on the fence. I ended up keeping the old one and not the new one.
I kept both because the new one's so much better, but the artwork in the old one I just love.
Yeah, well, we're gonna play Valbara, and then you'll be like, throw them both away.
Throw them both out.
Yeah.
Stonemeyer, who?
All right, so Martin Pring gave us a list. His list is Heat, Pedal to the Metal. John, you like that game a lot. It wasn't on your list of wanting to play, though.
If you want me to, if you need it taught, Martin, hit me up. I'll teach it to you.
I would like to play it again because I recently played Snowtails for the first time. That's a
I want to try Snowtails because you said that was possibly better
I want to try
Heat,
Snowtails now.
Yeah, I mean now that I've played Snowtails, I mean it's very similar, right? Like you have a deck of cards and you draw some of them from your deck and you can play those and you have to strategically decide where they're going to go. And if you take essentially some damage during the race, you take these ding cards and put them in your hand, which sort of mucks up your hand size, right? I just felt like it gave me basically the same feeling as when I was playing Heat, but it was a lot less complicated. Not like less strategically complicated, but just, I don't know, Heat's got that thing like, religiously do this step, this step, this step, this step, this step, and follow down this thing because otherwise you're going to mess it up, right? And I'm not a fan of the whole, unless you religiously follow this guide, you're going to miss something, skip it or whatever.
3A, it ruins the round.
Yeah, so anyway, so I can break Snowtails if you want. I doubt it's in the library.
Yeah, I would definitely try it. I love Heat, though, mostly because I love Flamme Rouge, and it's a version of Flamme Rouge I can actually get to the table.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why people's eyes gloss over when I say, hey, do you want to play this game about bicycle racing? But they absolutely do not want to play a game about bicycle racing.
Let's play them all. Let's play Snowtails, Flamme Rouge, Heat. Let's do it right together.
Yeah, and then, like, whoever wins the first game, you get pole position for the second game.
Yeah,
and so on.
And after we finish playing all three of those games, Erock will have finished reading the Oath rule book.
Exactly. Yes.
And we'll do it late so we can finish with Ave Caesar, and I can go to sleep in the middle of that.
Oh yeah, great.
Or Hail Caesar, was it?
No, it was Ave Caesar.
It was Ave Caesar. Yeah.
All right. So World Wonders was on his list. He wants to play Sniper Elite and Mind Management. So maybe we got another one for Mind Management there. Terry's list was Earth. Okay, so that's an easy one. So many people will know how to play that game is what I mean by that's an easy one. So easy teach. World Wonders again. Trial by Trolley. All right.
I want to play that. Yeah.
That's from that was the second.
Night in Happiness.
Yeah, the second game from the Joking Hazard or something was their first one. Yeah.
Cyanide and Happiness. Yeah.
And then Happy Little Dinosaurs, which I remember being a cute game, but I don't remember exactly what it was about.
Don't say cute game.
So yeah, Tiffany's like cute.
It's too late. She already said super cute. So I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's it. I uninvite Terry.
All right, and I think those were the only people who actually listed some things, but we did talk about some of these other games, right? Like, all right, War Room, Fury of Dracula, I have never, second edition, I have never played Fury of Dracula. I think I would like it. I like hidden movement games, so I just don't know if I could actually get some people to play it, right?
I like that game a lot.
Well, you say you'll play, but the trick is it's opportunity crossed, right?
Yes.
So if there's a game that you know you like and you've played it several times and somebody wants to play it at the con, but somebody else is like, hey, you want to go try the new hotness? It's like, well, I'm never going to get a chance to play Thunder Road Vendetta without buying it, but I've played
Hey, Tiffany, this new game is just a video of baby penguins. Do you want to play that instead of Fury of Dracula?
Can we do both?
Play both at the same time. Yeah. So there you go. Well, I could have done an hour-long video just myself going over games and games and games. And
I think we had to talk him out of it, actually. So.
Yeah, a bunch of games that I want to play art actually even in the library. So I didn't like Shake That City, right? And so I didn't put those in the list. But I keep a list of just here's games I want to play at a convention. I mean, I'm going to BGG Con in the fall, so that's a different library, a different set of people. One thing I'm interested about that con is they have all the Spiel des Jahres nominees there. So if you're interested in playing any of those,
speaking of, who's actually keeping our list? In so many videos, we've said add it to the list. Who's keeping that list? I need that person to step forward and let us know where this list is, so we can actually read it and maybe play the games on it. So if that's you, please let us know.
Yeah, if you're the list
on the count of 3, everybody say whose responsibility that is. 1, 2, 3, Erock.
Erock.
And I'm fulfilling that responsibility by outsourcing that.
Delegating.
Yes, exactly.
Erock's in charge. He's delegated it. He just doesn't know to who yet.
Oh, okay, so Martin just commented and said that he nominates Terry. I was thinking that I think Terry would be a great historian. I think Terry should watch our old videos, start the list for us, so we've got an ongoing list. Maybe we can even make it a Google Doc and share links to it, so anybody can just jump on the list and see what we've got in the queue at any time. I think it's a great idea, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. I re-invite you, Terry. Thank you.
Somebody's got to watch our videos and make a list, because we're not going to do it. Right? Even that time and time again.
Well, something that you can actually look forward to coming from us, rather than us playing all those games we put on the list, is after the con. I've done this a couple of times now. I've put together a video. Here's what I played, and I just run through every game I played, and I talk a little bit about them. So I don't know who else on the channel is going to get a chance to do that. But
I say I'm going to do it every year, so we'll see.
Maybe this is the year. I will definitely do it. It's not the highest production value. I just talk over Board Game Geek pictures of the game. So right. But whatever. It's informative, and my wife said she would actually watch that one. So hey, I gotta do it this year. So.
Cool.
Did she tell you that just to shut you up, though? I mean,
no, she volunteered that out of nowhere. I didn't even prod her. She's just
I'll chat with her. I'll ask her.
Yeah, you can straighten her out when we go to dinner. Yeah.
You didn't really mean that, right?
Yeah, right. Have you seen this guy's videos? They're not worth watching.
I'll join you for the video, but I'm not going to take notes. But you and I usually play a decent amount of games together at the con, so I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah. And sometimes we have diametrically opposed opinions, but I think for the most part we're on the same page.
There are times. I mean,
games.
A lot of times it's like Brian Boru. We're both like, I don't get the point of this game.
Yeah. That one. That's always an interesting one, right? Because a game is somehow worse when you were anticipating it to be really good, and then it's just okay or mediocre. Then somehow it's worse because you wanted it to be that thing that you had in your head, right? Yeah.
Well, most games, usually one person at the table likes them. So even if you don't get it, you're like, I didn't. And they're like this, that, and the other. You go, I can see that, but I just didn't like it. But then sometimes it's this game where you're just like, do you understand? No, I don't get it. What is something wrong? Are we playing it wrong? I don't know. I can't figure. There's one of those times.
I love last year at Dice Tower Con when we played Modern Art finally for the first time, and there was somebody there who just really liked the game, and he couldn't let it go that we didn't like it. We played it, and he was just like, no, you don't understand. I have to explain it to you. This is why you were supposed to like the game. And we're like...
The more you did that, the more we hated it. We're like, no.
I know. It was pretty funny. And I mean, he made some valid points about the strategy being deeper and things you have to do. But that game's got a meta, right? And we weren't all buying into the same meta. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Modern Art, I like to call it, I'll bid $49 million.
Wait. That's QE.
Don't even get me started on QE.
I don't think Martin asked, is Modern Art the drawing game where you all draw a single line? I don't think
that's
a fake.
That's a fake artist goes to New York. Yeah.
Modern Art's just a collage of different auctions.
It's like a set collection game where you bid on the sets. It's
part of the Kinesia auction trilogy. Yeah, and it's the scoring actually. It's not the auction so much, and the fact that there's so many different auctions. It's the scoring that's sort of weird and different in that game, and what I didn't like about the game.
Right.
Well, we even were like, you know what? We didn't enjoy this so much. Let's try Modern Art, the card game.
Yeah.
And then we hated that one too.
Yeah, that's right. We did.
It just, we gave it a chance, every chance we could, and it just did not. It didn't land for us.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I read about Modern Art, the card game, and I was like, oh, that sounds like it changes what we didn't like about Modern Art. So let's try that. Nope.
Still didn't like it.
Apparently, we didn't
You
like
lost
multiple
me at
things.
set collection, so
What?
True,
You don't like set
Yeah.
He
collection?
does not like set collection. It
You're not
could
gonna play
be
Trailblazers.
it could be the
something
process that happens as she's running her engine, and she's fine with that. But if the
Yeah,
point
that's fine.
is set collection,
So many games are sort of set.
Well, Raccoon
collection.
Tycoon's a terrible game, and it's all about set collection. So I think she's onto something.
hey, just tell her it's real cute, and we'll end up playing that.
That's the problem. It is cute. The artwork's
cute.
amazing. You want it to be a good game, but then it lets you down.
it's just not. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, anybody else think of anything else that they want to
No,
mention?
see you at the con, man.
Yeah.
I am stoked. Let's get
I'm
this
so
going.
excited.
1 week.
Yeah, not very far away. We will be there. We will play games. We might even post some stuff while we're there. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But definitely when we get back, there'll be a whole slew of stuff, us talking about whatever we played. And if
We'll
you're
have
there at the
stories.
con, yes, exactly. And if you're there at the con, look us up. We will play a game with you.
Yeah, we
I will
look like this.
I will look like
Yes.
this. You know?
I don't have any makeup on. This is really what I look
Yeah,
I
I
I don't
it's
know
not
what,
Maybelline. I was born this way.
what jersey are you wearing right now. I don't know.
Right now, it's LA Kings. I cannot promise that. I literally have 43 jerseys. So, but I will be
Do you have any
wearing
Solar
one.
Bear jerseys?
I'm sorry.
Any Solar Bear jerseys?
No, I do not have a Solar Bear jersey.
We do own. We have one in our possession in this house, though.
It's not.
So-
It's not mine. But you
It
know.
sounds oddly ominous.
I have a Syracuse Crunch jersey, hockey jersey.
There you go.
So,
Nice.
maybe I should bring that. I don't know. I got plenty of Orlando City soccer stuff. Season ticket holder here.
Yes, you do have a lot of the soccer stuff.
Yeah.
Or the football, depending upon how much of Ted
The
Lasso you watch.
foosball?
Football.
Football. Football is
Football
live.
is live.
I haven't seen Ted Lasso yet, but I know what you're talking about.
You should watch it. It's good.
Those
I
are so
should.
heartwarming.
I don't
All right,
know.
everybody, your favorite shows that you want to watch before the
I'm
con.
busy.
Go.
I'm busy like playing and talking about board games. I don't have time to watch TV. Come on.
Just watch it on your phone when you're driving to work. You set it up on the dashboard.
Wait.
What could go wrong?
People drive to work still?
I know. I'm like, that's just a
Drive-
walk.
when you drive to pick up
for
kids.
me.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I guess that wraps it up for today. We will maybe see you at the con, but otherwise, we'll catch you on the other side. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, friends.
Bye. See you next time.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.